Samasta Sukhino.
JP, welcome to Mullumbimby.
Thank you for inviting me to Mullumbimby, your lovely town.
Thank you so much for joining me here. It's really awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be here and flattered to be a part of your project that, to me, is very purposeful.
Thank you. Cool. So I'd like to dive straight in and ask you, in this moment, JP, what are you grateful for?
Well, great question. Grateful that I'm silencing my phone. But my more sincere answer is, right now what I'm most grateful for is a sense of belonging I have. And I'll particularly blame that on Mullumbimby, Byron Bay, this wonderful community of people. I feel so welcomed, and that really teaches me a lot about where that's lacking in my everyday life, experiencing this beautiful sense of belonging, kind of like I'm swimming in the oceanic consciousness and I'm a dolphin in the pod of dolphins. It's absolutely beautiful, and being able to experience it helps me have a contrast to kind of see and feel where that's lacking in my life. So feeling like I'm part of something bigger than myself, that feeling I'm super grateful for right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So gratitude is kind of a buzzword at the moment. What do you think of gratitude? Does it resonate with you? Do you bring some kind of gratitude into your day?
Yeah, on my good days I do. On my bad days, I'm very unmindful of my gratitude, and I'm actually very grateful when I feel grateful. I think gratitude for gratitude is so important. And from my perspective, we as humans, and I'm going to own this and say like me, so we and me do a lot of wanting for things in our life. We want the ideal relationship. We want more money. We want more happiness. And I think that sense of wanting can keep us blind to how we actually already have what we want. We're just yet to realize it. And I think that's why some would call kind of like our path of self-growth to be a path of self-realization, realizing that everything we need and want is already around us. And it may just be the matter of it being so close, hidden in plain sight that we don't see it. So for me, the practice of gratitude is having reverence and a heartfelt appreciation for realizing what it is we already do have. And I think gratitude's like wildfire when we can find a place in our heart to be grateful for something in our life or in ourself. That awareness then makes it easier to have an expanded awareness. And so we can see with a little more clarity what else we have to be grateful for that we might have been blind to yesterday.
So the gratitude just keeps on expanding.
Yeah, that's my take on it. And I certainly have personally my bad days where it seems to be contracting. But I think the bigger picture of gratitude is gratitude breeds more gratitude, which in my opinion breeds a heck of a lot more self-awareness and self-realization.
I've really found this with capturing gratitude when I've taken photographs of people that I'm grateful for, and I've posted it, that they've been able to share in my gratitude as well, and then that's expanded in their life. So that's really been my experience as well. So I wonder, who are you grateful for in your life? And you know, this might be somebody who you're really close to. It may be someone that you've never met, someone who's alive, or someone who's passed away. Who are you really grateful for?
Well, the first person that comes to my mind, honestly, Lauren, is you. I'm very grateful for you inviting me to be a part of your beautiful offering to the world. It really is humbling, so I'm very grateful for your presence in my life right now. And maybe I'm kind of playing the Eckhart Tolle card of, be grateful for what's in front of you now. But I am. And also recently I've been getting more and more in touch with gratitude for my parents. And maybe it's a little bit cliche to talk about, well, let's be grateful for our parents. Yet I think I've lived a lot of decades of my life pretty indifferent and blind to the gifts that they've provided me, while I focus on what they didn't do for me. So my parents are imperfect human beings, which is probably what makes them the perfect parents for me. And they certainly have what my mind might judge to be flaws. And I'm so grateful for a willingness that I've started to develop to pierce through that and become more and more grateful and aware of what the heck they've given me. I mean, amongst other things, they've given me this thing called human life. They've really provided a solid foundation in my childhood that allowed me to feel a sense of adventure enough, to feel safe enough going into unsafe territory, that it's allowed me to spread my wings and be creative and go places in my life, professionally and personally, that I don't think I could go into if I didn't have that sense of safety that they gave me from childhood. So I'm grateful for you, Mom and Dad.
I hope they're watching.
I hope so too.
Hi.
My Mom and Dad.
So I've really found that gratitude is its most powerful when times get tough. When life throws something at us that we didn't ask for, that we didn't expect, and it can feel like a real disaster at the time. But when in hindsight, when we look back on it, we can find the real gifts in these disasters and find something to be really thankful for.
Yeah.
Have you had this experience?
I think you and I are both part of the same thing called the human condition, for sure, and I agree. It's easy to be grateful when things are easy, when we feel safe and valued and life is going our way. It's super easy to be grateful, yet I think that doesn't really strengthen us. I think it's wonderful, but I don't think we actually get stronger with our reverence for gratitude when we only do it at the easy times. But the hard times, I mean, when stuff is happening, I know for me sometimes, if I'm at the airport, flight's canceled, and I'm not getting where I'm going when I'm good, and I know I'm not going to have a good night of sleep because I got to wake up for the next flight the next morning early, and I'm not going to have good food, I'm not going to be comfortable. What am I to be grateful for in those moments? And to me, that's a great challenge. And if it wasn't a challenge, it probably wouldn't be worth doing. And certainly in those tough times, I'm usually at least 90% blind, if not 100% blind to what there is to be grateful for. So something that comes up for me hearing what you said is, at the very least, in hindsight, looking back to the tough times, challenging times, even traumatic times, to see the purpose, the gifts that are there for us to be grateful for. And I think sometimes I do have to have time to get over the shock of my emotional reactions, my stories, my personal dramas, before I even have a remote sense of vision to see what were the gifts of that situation. Sometimes it takes me years, honestly, sometimes days. Sometimes I get a little glimpse of it in the moment when times are challenging.
Just a glimpse.
Just a glimpse.
Yeah. Do you have an example of a time that you could share with us?
Yeah, well, as a present date, about 2 months ago, my lovely ex-girlfriend and I broke up. And, very painful, and it certainly, us breaking up wasn't going to meet my expectations of how our relationship was supposed to be going. So that was very tough, and I'm delighted to say that her and I had what I would call a friendly breakup. So actually one thing I'm grateful for in this moment is very grateful that her and I didn't need to create excuses of why we needed to hate each other in order to justify our breakup. So I'm very grateful we could break up and move on and close our relationship on friendly terms. And I would say also in the moment when her and I were having the breakup conversation, I did catch a little glimpse of, I am really grateful for this lovely woman who's been in my life. I've grown so much and learned so much about myself in her presence through the delightful mirror, sometimes challenging mirror, that she is and was for me. So while I could see, like, okay, our time is coming to an end now, we're parting ways, I'm very grateful that I was grateful for what she did for me in my life. And I do believe I haven't even begun to comprehend even a fraction of what her presence did for me in my life. So, hi, ex-girlfriend.
Hi, thank you.
But yeah, so that's an example of gratitude in the moment of a challenge that comes to my mind.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So my next question is about gratitude for yourself. What are you grateful for in yourself?
First thing that comes up is I'm so grateful that I'm willing to take risk in my life. Getting a little theoretical about that, I do believe that the gifts of my life, the aliveness of my life, the beauty of my life happens outside of my comfort zone. And I think it's only a willingness to take a risk that is that has the ability to take me outside of my comfort zone. So one of the biggest things that I risk, I'm not perfect at it, I just take risks at a pace that I can handle, is risking the disapproval of other people. And I'm so grateful that I've been willing to jump on YouTube and do things in a very non-traditional way because it's really given me so many gifts, and it was my willingness to take a risk and risk disapproval from lots of people in my inner circle and outer circle and people who I don't even know. The willingness to risk disapproval is something I'm super grateful for. It's given me lots of gifts.
What a gift.
Yeah, our gifts are quite a gift.
And I love your YouTube videos, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
They're really cool.
I'm codependent enough that makes me feel super good to hear.
Good. So just lastly, before we finish up, is there anything that you'd like to say to the people watching about gratitude? Any message about gratitude that you'd like to pass on?
Yeah, my opinion is that gratitude is a ever-present aspect of our state of mind, dare say state of heart. So I do believe gratitude is always possible. The question is, do we have the awareness in the moment to gift ourselves with the levity of finding something to be grateful for? And I would dare say there is so much, when we look around and say, nothing's going my way, even the mundane offers a beautiful opportunity to be grateful for. Like I'm grateful for this step under my feet. It gives me a sense of connection. So if you have the ground underneath your feet, I think you have at least something to be grateful for. So I would encourage you to invite yourself into unfolding self-awareness of what is there around you or inside of you that you can be grateful for. And I do think gravity is levity in our life. I think we all have enough gravity that we can use to balance that out with a little bit of levity.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your time here today. One way in Byron Bay and Mullumbimby that we like to express our gratitude is to have a really big hug. So I'd like to give you a hug now.
I would love to share a
express my
hug
gratitude.
with you.
Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.